Welcome in. It's Wednesday live chat for this week's Rocket Classic or Live Golf Dallas or Memorial Health Championship or U.S. Senior PGA. Whatever you want to talk about. The time is yours. Get your questions, concerns, and comments in the chat right now, and I'll go through as many as I can over the course of the next hour or so. Let us start where we always start as those questions begin to roll in here, and we'll look at the weather in Detroit. Ooh, looks a little warm, little stormy. Thursday and Friday, we've got thunderstorms in the afternoons. The chance of precipitation going up pretty significantly around 3 p.m. on Thursday, and then maybe a little bit earlier, maybe about the same, 3 or 4 o'clock on Friday. 1/4 inch of precipitation in the forecast for each of those days. If we're looking at weather waves, Thursday's wind forecast seems to be a lot more mild. Friday afternoon, the wind looks like it starts to kick up pretty significantly. So all of Thursday might be pretty similar. And if there is any stoppage, of course, this is going to change. But Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, if it plays out as tee times are currently structured, that might look like the little bit of the better side of things. One and done is fascinating this week. So these are the site-wide ownership rates from officefootballpool.com. These are not projections. These are literally all of the millions of picks that have been put in thus far, dependent a little bit or a lot of it on your own league, but these always hold very strong. 2 golfers lead the way. 28% of Cam Young, 22% of Ben Griffin, and nobody else above 6%. Minwoo Lee, Wyndham Clark, Harry Hall, Akshay Bhatia, Patrick Cantlay. If you're front running, playing either Cam Young or Ben Griffin seems prudent. That's fine. If you are outside the top 10% or so, 15% or so, you just have your pick of the litter. You know, Cantlay at 5.2% is one of the favorites. Harry Hall seems to fit well for this golf course. Not sure I love Minwoo Lee as the 3rd best golfer here. We can talk about that. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But you could even convince me to go get Max Grazerman at 2%, to go get Siwoo Kim at 1.4%, to go get Rasmus Højgaard at 0.5%. You could convince me on all of that. So really a potpourri. Anything you want in terms of the ownership projections. Now, before I get into your first question, your first comment, let me remind you that right now, DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to play free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. Very simple. Build your dream lineup. Stay under the cap. It's $50K. Sit back and watch your players rack up points. Just download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions in prizes with your first deposit. Again, it's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app on today. The crown is yours. Nate, let's ride. What are the outlooks for Minwoo, Jake Knapp, Lee Hodges, Alex Smalley, and Aldrich Potgieter? Of those guys that you named, Knapp is probably my favorite. I think this is a very good setup for him, and I think he is the 1st or 2nd best golfer out of that group. Alex Smalley is probably the next best. He's had himself a very good year, but has cooled off a little bit. Minwoo, very inconsistent with the irons. I kind of alluded to this, and I'll take the time on Minwoo right now because he was the 3rd highest selected golfer in terms of one and done. And that is concerning for me, considering the fact that he's just been bombing strokes on approach ever since the win in Houston, which is reasonable. The putter has gone cold. He has not gained strokes on the putting surface since his win in Houston. This is a very, very bad profile, though it is not entirely, unrealistic considering the fact they just broke through and got that initial victory. Potgieter is incredibly high upside, but it's a good course fit for him, but he's going to have to do more than just drive the ball very far. Last time we saw him was Colonial. It was a T6, and he played much better from tee to green. That's pretty much by far the best result that we've ever seen from him. I'm even including the runner-up finish that he had in Mexico, because 9 strokes positive with the putter is not sustainable. He has not sniffed that since, and he has not sniffed that before. So I'm a little bit bullish here, but I understand that this is a range of outcomes that is massive. Lee Hodges, whatever, I feel just about average about him. Speaking of which, Nate, I prefer Rio Hisatsune over Lee Hodges. If you look at Rio, he actually has like legitimate top 10 upside, right? We've seen that a handful of times here in 2025. The good play just continues. He's in the mix constantly. No problem there. Brendan says, I feel like on Thursdays, I always regret not taking Rasmus. And then by the time the weekend comes along, I never hear his name. Is this a real phenomenon or am I delusional? Okay, well, I guess there's a couple of ways we can look at this. Let's just do this. Let's go to the Holy Grail. Since the start of last year, we'll pop up Rasmus here. Again, this is my website, rickrungood.com. Round 1, he's a 1.4 strokes gained per round player. Round 2, 1.7. Round 3, he's a small loser. Round 4, he's a small loser. That is not a phenomenon. You are absolutely correct. Plays much better on Thursday and Friday than he does over the course of the weekend. The Matt McCarty deep dive is probably not much to write home about. Played a little bit better a couple of starts ago, but hasn't really done much since the victory in Utah in the fall. Loved what he did at the Canadian Open in terms of a finishing position, but the fact that he gained 7 of those strokes, which was nearly 80% of the strokes that he gained for the week with the putter, is concerning. And then he drops right back off at the US Open. He was not good the week before at the Charles Schwab. I love Matt McCarty. I have invested a lot of him in season-long situations, and I have basically received nothing in return for that. Harry Hall is one of the better putters on the PGA Tour and has turned into a really solid tee to green player. So let's look at this a couple of different ways. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but let's go Harry Hall in 2024. He was gaining a third of a stroke per round from tee to green. Oh, it's actually worse in 2025. He goes from 0.3 to 0.29. Okay, so basically 0.3 in both of those. Okay, maybe I had to go back a little bit further. 2023, he was losing more than a half a stroke from tee to green. What did he do in 2022? 20 starts, he hit it really well, but a lot of those were Korn Ferry Tour starts. I only had 2 measured starts. What did I have in 20? Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So 2023, first full year on the PGA Tour, hemorrhages strokes from tee to green. 2024 and 2025 have been much better, and he has not lost the flat stick. So you're going to need to be able to give yourself a lot of opportunities and make a lot of putts. I think this is a really good spot for him. Jesper Svensson. This is my newsletter for this week. Go check it out. I put together this little graphic, which is strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained putting. And the idea was that you could argue, of all places on the PGA Tour schedule, this is one where you need the longest and the shortest club in your bag, your driver and your putter. Hit it far. Doesn't matter how inaccurate you hit it. And then you're going to have to make a lot of putts because the winning score is so low and it's going to be a birdie fest. So I made this graphic because I was thinking of Max Grazerman, who's in this. He's still in the upper right-hand quadrant. He's right here with like Matt McCarty, Matt Fitzpatrick, Wyndham Clark kind of deal. The man who actually stands out the most is Jesper Svensson, because he does these two things really, really well. So I'll pull up his profile here so that you can see this. Oh, I think I clicked Jesper Parnevik. I did. My bad. Wrong one. Look at that headshot. Okay. So you see he's gained strokes off the tee in every event since the Valspar, and he's been much better going back to the start of 2025. Putter, same thing, all but 2 starts recently. He's picked up strokes with the putter. One of these like Euro guys who comes over at the start of the year and has played well since. So I think this is a really, really good spot for guys like Svensson, for guys like Grazerman and Clanton and Fishburne and Minwoo. It says I don't love Minwoo Lee, but like Minwoo Lee's in the right quadrant. Patrick Cantlay's in the right quadrant. This is definitely the place that I think that you are going to want to be. Hey, Rick, I'm stuck between Akshay, Clark, and Fitzpatrick for last player in DFS. Feel like Akshay is the best course fit, but in the worst form. That's probably fair. I think if you're willing to take on Fitzpatrick, I think we're getting very close to him being playable if we're not there already. So last handful of results have been very good. A little bit of reliance on the putter, but mostly at the US Open. The rest of it is, him starting to plug the gaps a little bit. The Travelers Championship was the best we've seen him play, maybe the second best we've seen him play in 2025. The best was probably Quail Hollow, where he gained 8 strokes from tee to green and pitched a complete gain. A complete gain, I think, is what we're going to go with. Complete game, I like that. Complete gain in every category. That was DM'd to me. I want to get the credit correct here from Chugsy. I think we're going to go with a complete gain. I like the way that rolls off the tongue. I'm 74th out of one and done in my 74th out of 100, my one and done. Yeah, that is not good. Grazerman or Cam Young? Well, you can't play Cam Young because he's going to be 30% owned. Grazerman is fine. I have Morikawa and Cantlay available. Also, maybe use one of them. If not, when? Good question. We're running out of events. There are 6 more, I believe, until the playoffs. So then there's probably 8 more for this season. I would say you could should probably use one of them now. I don't know what the rest of your stable looks like, but God, sucks to use Collin Morikawa at the Rocket Classic, but I think you probably have to do it. If you could play in a foursome with any PGA or Live golfers, and where would it be? I mean, I can pick anything. Okay. Scotty, Rory, Tiger, or Scotty, Rory, Bryson, or Scotty, Rory, Rahm, I think would be good. Or Scotty, Rory, Spieth would kind of be sick. Augusta National. If I can't do Augusta National, Pine Valley. If I can't do Pine Valley, the Old Course. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Thoughts on Smalley and or Noren? Smalley, I think, is okay. Noren, I think, is a smidge better. Hard to overstate or understate. I don't know. He's been good recently. Okay. He's well-rounded. There used to be a stigma that he couldn't go low enough to win these types of golf tournaments. I don't think he is going to win, but I don't think that is necessarily the detriment anymore. Very, very solid veteran. You're going to get 4 rounds of grind out of him. Have you ever been to Michigan? And is there a course in the state you would like to play? I don't think I've ever been to Michigan. It's probably one of the few states that I can say that about. Detroit, Lansing. I don't know what would have taken me to Michigan. So no, I don't think I've been to Michigan. There's a lot of good golf in Michigan, isn't there? I'd have to think about that. But no. Let me get out to Michigan. One and done. I'm in first, but second is creeping up off of me, considering Cam Young or Ben Griffin. Yeah. So Troy, you are the epitome of this graph. Either one, I would go and look at your opponent and see if he has used either one of these guys already. And if he has, play that guy. But yeah, either one of them is fine. I probably don't have much of a preference. I think both of them are great. Can you power rank these 3 as my B players? Okay, so I would rank them. This is very, very close. So they're Cam Young, Harry Hall, Max Grazerman. I think it's Grazerman, and I think it's Cam Young. I think it's very close. Let me just give you the quick thing on Cam Young, because I know he can't win, right? I know all of that stuff. Whatever. I don't really care. He's been having a very, very solid 2025. And even up until the Travelers, guess what? TPC River Highlands, not a good course for Cam Young. It's not. It's a precision golf course. He still gains a ton of strokes with the putter. That's great. He's going to be able to just wield his weapon around Detroit Golf Club. This is a much better spot for him. So yeah, fire away. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I'm 11 out of 501 done. Sick. I'm deciding between Cantlay and Cam Young. Season goes to the BMW Championship and was planning to save Young, but Cam was planning to save Cantlay, but Cam Young's ownership is crazy high. The thing for you, Tony, is that you don't care about the ownership. And if you do, you want to be, what's the opposite of contrarian? Concurrent? No, I can never remember the name of it. You want to be with the majority. You're going to box at least 25% of people out from catching you by taking Cam Young. And he's a very good option. And that's why he's as highly owned as he is. So I think you stick to the plan here and you roll out Cam Young. I think that's the right way to do it. Thoughts on Ryan Gerard and Rio? Gerard is just a just like team no putt guy, right? Just like cannot get anything going with the putter. Conforming. Yes, thank you, Mina. I mean, look at how bad this is. The tee to green numbers are spectacular. The putting numbers are horrendous. So I'm usually okay with that, but you might not be. And it's also going to be a very difficult watch when you see him hit everything to 12 feet and miss it all. Thoughts on Antoine Rozner? Let's pull up Rozner here. See, oops, I had him. See what Antoine's been up to. The Frenchman. Pretty darn good, I'll tell you that. So since the Zurich, which I don't care about, but he finished 31st with his partner. 13th at the Byron Nelson, 34th at the Myrtle Beach, 24th at the Byron Nelson with a complete gain. How did that sound? Did it sound like I knew what I was talking about? Has not played a ton of PGA Tour events this year, but when he has, he's played well. He's not missed a cut in 2025. That's a lie. He missed a cut at his first event of the year, the American Express. He had a complete loss. Awesome international player. Yeah, okay. This is a lot better than I thought, Ken. Good luck. Here's the Cam Champ stuff for Will. If you're going to play Cam Champ, it's now or never. And you take it 1 week at a time. He has routinely been a guy that pops out of nowhere. He was awesome at the Canadian Open, complete gain, 8.5 strokes to the field, 4 off the tee. Really, really good stuff. This is about as good of a golf course as you're going to get for him. I am concerned that he is a one-trick pony. I am concerned that he has played here 6 times and he's missed the cut 3 of his last 4. Also, he's got 2 top 20 finishes in his last 5. What I do like is this. This is exactly right. He is going to have a 2.5 to 5 stroke floor because of his off the tee play. And you can see that even in the weeks that he missed the cut here, he lost a stroke and a half in 2 rounds. He gained a stroke and a half in 2 rounds and missed the cut. He gained 1.8 in 2 rounds and missed the cut. He gained 2.4 in 2 rounds and missed the cut. He legitimately is going to gain somewhere between 2 and 5 strokes off the tee this week. Good base. Now we've got to figure out where the other 10 strokes come from, where he wins this golf tournament. Now let's figure this out. We need 10 more. If I get 2 from the putter, which I got at the Canadian Open, if I get 1.5 from around the green, which I got at the Canadian Open, and I get 1 like I did on the approach, that is 4.5. I'm still 5.5 short of winning the golf tournament, but that's like a top 10 finish. So yeah, we're going to get in on Cam Champ. We're going to get out and we're going to reassess as the year goes on. In honor of Mario Kart World release, they released a new Mario Kart. Really? Is this the only other Mario Kart that they've released since the original Mario Kart? No, it can't be, right? Because there was the one for the Wii. That was like a different Mario Kart. Is this the one for the Switch or the Switch 2? Maybe. Mina loves Mario Kart, I think. No, she likes that Mario Party. Mario Party? Is that what it's called? I think it's called Mario Party. She said Bowser for life, which is insane. Okay. Who in the field has the best chance to throw a blue shell from deep in the field to knock down the leaders for a shocking victory? Okay. The blue shell, that goes and gets the guy whoever's in front, right? That's what the blue shell does. The red shells just hit like whoever's immediately in front of you. Jake Knapp would be a very good blue shell option. Austin Eckroat would be a very good blue shell option. That's all I'm willing to go with. That's all I'm willing to go with, I believe, for the Blue Shells. Finally climbed in one and done thanks to Keegan. I'm 14th out of 150. Top 12 get paid. Thinking between Ben Griffin and Cam Young. Yeah, so same thing, Chris. Just whichever one you feel better with. They're both going to be over 20% owned. They're both relatively similar in terms of their outright odds and all that fun stuff. So just whoever you feel more comfortable with. If you made me choose, I don't know. I truly don't know. I like Ben Griffin a lot. I know I'm going to get a grind from Ben Griffin. I think Cam Young's a better fit, but Ben Griffin's played well at a lot of different golf courses, and I know I'm going to get a grind from him. I would probably pick Ben because it would help me sleep, but it is literally, if you ask me in 5 minutes, I might say Cam Young. Seriously. 23 out of 63 of my one and done runs through East Lake. Points are based on a golfer finishing position. Win equals minus 50. Okay. Griffin, Hall, Young. Okay. You should use Hall or Grazerman. I'm fine with either. Grazerman. Yeah, Grazerman probably. Can you do a deep dive on Viktor Perez? Couple of Frenchmen, huh? Couple of Frenchmen getting the look here. Okay. It's not bad. I'll tell you what, this really isn't bad at all because it's a T9 at the Canadian Open, T19 at the US Open. But look at like his last 5 or 6 metrics. Where is he losing strokes? A ton around the green. Guess what? If you are tapping into your around the green play this week, you're screwed anyway. All right. It's just, you're cooked anyway. So I don't even think I really care about that. He has gained, my God, 12 and a half strokes on approach in his last 8 rounds. Has he played here before? No. That's pretty good. I think we ride with Viktor Perez. Hey, Rick, love the videos. Do you know if there's going to be a full swing season 4? Haven't heard about it yet and would love to see it return. I do not know that. I also have not heard about it. I would say probably, but I don't know. 11th out of 341 of my one and done. Highest graded is Keegan, but thinking about saving here for the BMW, leaning Cam Young over Ben Griffin. That's fine. Same thing, Brandon. Brendan, excuse me. Just like whichever one you feel better with. They're both very, very similar. Second in your splash one and done. Damn, son. You're in line for some big money. Was going to use Hall, but worried this guy will too. Should I pivot or still? Oh, yeah. Still go with what your original. There's still too much time. If you're in second out of 4,000, and I don't know what the gap is, Cam, between you and the guy at the top, but I'm not worrying about what he's doing right now if I were you. Views on Cam Davis this week. First off, did you guys see the bobblehead they're giving out? Cam Davis double fisting the trophy. Just mint stuff. Cam hasn't been good. He knows it. I wish I could say something better. I really hope he figures it out this week. But I mean, we're losing 7, 8, 9 strokes from tee to green. We're losing it in a lot of different places. We've seen him get hot for a round or two at a time, right? Played well to open up the US Open. Where else did he start off really hot? Oh, PGA. He started off really well. Unless he's just going to pure vibe this place and just come back and like straight vibe it. I don't know if there's a good finish in store for Cam this week, unfortunately. I wish there was. Jake Knapp season, fellas, big trust. I think I agree with that. Thoughts on Collin firing his caddy? Here's what I'll say about Collin. Collin is very deep in his brain right now, and I do not mean that as a compliment. I want to remind Collin, if I could speak to him, that he is like the 5th best player in the world, and he kind of needs to start acting like it. He does not need to be tinkering with all this stuff. The glove, the no glove. Like, dude, I think he's making drastic changes because he hasn't won, when the difference between winning and finishing where he's finishing is nearly non-existent. So like, dude, you've been so damn good. Don't overthink this. Okay. Don't overthink this. I just really think I think it's a detriment to himself that he is running through all this stuff. I have built the majority of the lineups that I have built. Slizzard Pap is starting in the 9K range and living in the 7K range, and I'm quite pleased with that. Can we find some golfers who are really good to start round one? Yeah. So let's just do it. Let's just do it like this. We're just going to go since the start of 2023. Everybody in this field, round one, purely on strokes, a strokes gained metric. Morikawa, Cristobal del Solar. A lot of his are probably KFT and European Tour stuff, but the last time we saw him, how about that? 7.76 at the Canadian Open in the opening round, 5 at Myrtle Beach. Ryan Gerard, Cantlay, Rozner, Keith Mitchell, that checks out. Jacob Bridgman, although Bridgman's been bad lately. How about, could you see no, it probably doesn't get hot enough there for Jesper. Is Del Solar going to be your first round leader? Kind of feels that way, doesn't it? What about Akshay? No. What about Grillo? He's back, baby. Give me the tee to green stuff, man. I think I like Jesper Svensson, Cristobal del Solar, Antoine Rozner kind of first round leader stuff. Love your show. Can I get your thoughts on Wyndham Clark versus Alex Noren and Alex Smalley, or is Grazerman the pick here? I think Grazerman's the pick here. So I talked about this a little bit in my newsletter, but that upper right hand approach, or excuse me, off the tee and putting, and the fact that Grazerman, I think he's got room to improve. So the floor has proven to be pretty high for Grazerman, who is in the worst putting stretch of his career, and he's got a T25, a T23, and a T36 at 2 signature events in the US Open. Even just field adjusted, those are much better finishes here. Then if you get field adjusted and he gets back to being one of the best putters on the PGA Tour, that's like 6 strokes we just found. And if we just found 6 strokes, now he's in the mix to win the golf tournament. I know that I'm playing the what if game, but that's it. Here are okay, let me pull this up for you. So I'm going to go to the power rankings and pull up the Italian Open here for you, Ronnie. Whoops. There you go. And we're going to compare the salaries versus their last 36 rounds. Okay. So first off, Eugenio Chacarra, we've talked about a lot, just destroying international golf. Sean Norris is actually number 1. This Martin Kuvra, I don't know how he pronounces that. I'm pretty sure he just won. Yeah, he did. And what I like about this is he won the Turkish Open, and then he misses the cut, but it wasn't a bad miscut, which is, right after the win, no problem there. And then the bounce back, and 8th at the Austrian Open. Yes, I have the strokes gain numbers from the DP World Tour. Yes, I have the strokes gain numbers from Live Golf. Yes, I have them from the PGA Tour. Yes, I have data deals with all of these tours. So the best data I could put together for rickrungood.com is what you're looking at right now, because it is as complete of a database as you are going to find. Let's run a model. Last 36. So this is the custom model, rickrungood.com. Last 36 rounds for Chris. 25 on birdie or better. 25 on approaches. So that's long approaches. There's a lot of commas here, Chris. Hold on a second. Let me figure out what this says. 25 on, okay, putting inside 10 feet. And then strokes gain tee to green. If I if I understood that correctly, Chris's number one golfer is Jake Knapp. Number two is Patrick Cantlay, Cam Champ, Kirk Kitayama, Keegan Bradley. Then we rounded out with Collin Morikawa, Nikolai Højgaard, Keith Mitchell, Eric Van Rooyen, Akshay Bhatia. Good luck, Chris. I don't like any of these guys, Christopher. It says like, so it's Bridgman, Ryder, Pock-Eater. I think Pock-Eater is the better option. Remember, like and subscribe. Costs us nothing. I agree. Last man in, $6,900 left. Oh, okay. Got it. I now understand the question. Last man in for 6,900. Don't hate Alejandro Tosti. Don't love it. Don't hate it. God, these guys are bad. Hold on a second. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me look at this from a different angle. I'm going to just filter on everybody in this field from 6,900 and cheaper. Let me sort by last 36. God, Norlander, he's like the king of team no putt, isn't he? Oh my God, these guys are so bad. How about... Oh my God, guys, sorry. I wasn't expecting it to be this difficult. It might just be Quade Cummins, honestly. Fourth at the Wichita Open, which was the Korn Ferry Tour event last week. He's gained strokes in 6 of his last 8. His missed cuts haven't been horrible. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going. I'm not thrilled about it. Spieth withdrew last week and dropped my one and done winnings by 50%. Who is a less popular option that you like this week? Probably... I mean, anybody not named Ben Griffin or Cam Young. So I think my favorite, all things considered, Grazerman at 2%. Rozner over Castillo, but I think Castillo's good, not great. But Rozner very much looked good. Anything here with Keith Mitchell, Akshay, Nikolai, Victor Perez, Hodges, Ryder. So not in on Hodges and Ryder. Victor Perez looks really good. I'm bullish on Akshay and I'm kind of neutral on Nikolai and Mitchell. Are you a CoffeeZilla brother? I don't know who CoffeeZilla is. Or is that a brand? CoffeeZilla. I like coffee. CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla is an American YouTuber. Oh, we do kind of look alike. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you think this looks like me? I could kind of see that, right? I could kind of see that. Yeah. No, I don't know CoffeeZilla. But maybe we are related. I don't know. Maybe we're long lost brothers. Ownership pivots for each range. Okay. Let's fire up the cheat sheet here. So Keegan in the 10K range, but it's not a huge difference from Collin and Cantlay, 20 and 22%. There's not going to be a ton of ownership on those guys. Siwoo in the 9K range is 9.7%. The 8K range, I mean, Rasmus is 8.7 if you can get him to play well on the weekend. You could play both Højgaards. I like Taylor Moore. He's 11% projected ownership. Wow. Pock-Eater's catching like 8%. Okay. I would go Eckroat down at the bottom. And then it looks like Hadwin's getting a bit in the 6K range. I mean, the 6K range stinks. Toasty's 2.3. Yeah. That's probably it. I would love to see Norm Zhang win. David Ford's playing. David Ford is a PGA Tour U guy, now a professional, has accepted his card, has missed his 2 cuts since the Charles Schwab, but played better at the Canadian Open. He'll get his feet underneath of him a little bit. I don't like either one of these guys as much. It's Smalley or Davis Thompson. Slight preference to Davis Thompson, but not thrilled about either one of those guys. No, you could play Grazerman guy. So it says, is Grazerman, Clanton, or Jaeger too deep of pools in one and done in the top 30 of the Rick? In the top 30 of the Rick Run Good contest. Yeah, 30 out of 4,000. Just play Cam Young or Ben Griffin and call it a day. Yes, unfortunately. One and done stroke play, not money. I'm starting roughly 20 strokes behind. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Harry Hall, Max Grazerman, those would both be fine. Here's the Norlander conversation. I want to pull his up because he just, he's in that 6K range that I think people are going to have a little bit of trouble with. I imagine what we're going to see here. Okay, I'll give him a little bit of credit. Putted well at the Players, putted well at Valspar, putted well at the Texas Open, and the Byron Nelson, and the Canadian Open. This is actually a lot better than I would have suspected. History here, 4 made cuts, but nothing. Only one inside the top 30 at T12 in 2020. It's not bad for that 6,000. He's 6,900, right? Yeah, $6,900 range. It's not bad. Driver stinks, but he's hitting it close and he's putting better. That's good enough. I watched the second cut. Thank you. Yeah. So second cut is a show we do 3 times a week or 5 times a week for major championships with Mark Immelman and Greg Ducharme. We brought back the first cut, which was a podcast that was retired by CBS Sports. We brought it back independently. So on YouTube, you can check it out. You can download it wherever you get your podcasts. It's very fun. It's very sick. It's kind of sick. It's kind of just a little bit different kind of conversation, news and storylines and such. Ben on is the one that I would want there, Jack. Yeah. I mean, Webb Simpson is a part-time, both those guys. Ben on's the only full-time player in that group. Webb Simpson's partially retired. Zach Johnson's partially retired. And Ben's played the 3 best starts that he's had in about 3 months in a row. Wyndham is lost. So there's a question there about a deep dive on Wyndham Clark. I don't know if there's a ton of great stuff from Wyndham right now. The Travelers was good, but still erratic, right? Really good Thursday, really good Saturday. Friday and Sunday are dismal. The rest of his results are really bad. He will benefit from just hitting it wherever he wants. But I think there is a little bit more to the story on that one. All right. These are if I'm skipping your question, it's because I've probably answered it. A lot of like Harry Hall, Victor Perez, weather. Hello from Liverpool. Yeah, baby. Oh, I might have mentioned this before. Ryan Fox, I think grades quite well at a lot of different golf courses. Look at this run he's been on. The last 6 have been awesome. His worst finish is a T28 at the PGA. He's won twice in his last 6. He's not playing this week. Sorry. I don't know if I made that clear. So James was saying like some of these guys we're not going to see until the Scottish, but I haven't seen that field yet. I'm not quite the Scottish yet, but Ryan Fox has been awesome. Tom Kim is starting to scratch the itch. The itch is the bar is very low for Tom Kim. It's very, very low. I think that he kind of needs one of these places that aren't going to beat you up that much. A lot of the places that he's played, Quail is going to beat you up, and TPC Toronto is going to beat you up, and Oakmont's going to beat you up, and Travelers, if you're out of position, can beat you up. I think he just needs like this. Just like go make a bunch of birdies. Go have fun. Go get after it, right? Like, I just think he needs one of these. I don't know if it's coming or not, but I'm hoping that we can give me like a T16 and build a little bit of confidence here. That's what I want. So I'll point this out, and I think I emailed this out as well. Before Viktor Hovland withdrew on Sunday at the US Open, and I know he's not playing this week, he was gaining 8 strokes on approach. That was not only the best in the field, it was the best in the field by 4 full shots. He is back, okay? And I know that was obvious. He won in March. But this is a really, really good sign for Viktor for the rest of the year. Ooh, I could do this, Jordan, but I would have to do it in the back end of the database and not on the front end. So I might have to just tweet that out. 1 million out of the money after the Keegan win. Griffin, Cam Young, or Hideki. If you're trying to make up grounds, you have to play Hideki. I know that kind of stinks, but you have to do it. Can we work up a custom model targeting bombers, approach play, and best putters with recent play coming? Maybe add a category that fits this course. All right, let's do this then. If you don't mind, well, you know what? I'm not going to do the weighted strokes gained. I'm not, because let's just see what happens. We're going to go pretty short term here for some of this stuff. Let's do driving distance, right? Like you said, 25. Approach play. Let's do opportunities plus gains. That is how many birdie putts you're getting inside of 10 feet relative to your peers. And I'm just going to put in greens and regulation percentage. So it's 30 on approach play. Putting, we are going to do a little bit of bonus putting. And then we are going to do just pure strokes gained putting last 12. And then we are going to do our final 15 on Detroit Golf Club. Oh, mama. Number 1 golfer, Cam Champ. Number 2, Cam Young. And then there's a big gap to Ben Griffin, Nikolai Højgaard, David Skins, Jake Knapp, Rico Hoey, Patrick Cantlay, Mark Hubbard, Thorbjorn Olesen. Where does Joe Griner go from here? Wherever he wants. A lot of times caddy shuffle creates more caddy shuffle. I think there's like a 20% chance he goes back to Max Homa. I also think that he's going to be receiving a lot of phone calls. Does Justin Thomas make a phone call? Does Cam Young should make a phone call? Joe Griner should say thank you, but no thank you. I'm trying to think who else. Who would benefit from Joe Griner? I mean, a lot of people would benefit from Joe Griner, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if that was. I got a lot of Michigan. I'm getting a lot of Michigan love here. All right, we'll add it to the list. We'll have to be an Ooper. That's what you guys call yourselves, right? Upper Peninsula. Oopers. Is that a thing? Here's the deep dive on Hideki. And then actually I want to give JJ Spawn a little bit of a hat tip. Not playing this week, but Hideki's not been good. Hideki's losing strokes off the tee in 5 out of his last 6. The rest of his game is sound. When I consider Hideki, I don't always really care about the form because he has proven that he can just snap off and play well out of the blue. So if you want a high risk winning upside option, Hideki's there, but you could very easily get burned on that. Oh, okay. Cheers, Taylor. It says first month doing a subscription. I'm assuming that's to rickrungood.com, which I highly recommend. Highly. How contrarian can you be if you enter the $250 4 max, it doesn't matter. You don't have to. Your max percentage can be anything. 200%. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I would not worry that much. The chances that you are the chances of you having a unique lineup are incredibly common or incredibly high that you would have a unique lineup. So I would not. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I misread that, I think. I was assuming it was $250 for people, like the Thunderdomes or whatever they call those. Maybe that's not what this is. How many people are in that? I might change my answer depending on how many people are in that, but I think I misread that wrong. Springer or John Paul? Let's look at these two together here. Hayden Springer. I don't know why I couldn't find his name there for a second. Hayden Springer is not getting me too excited. He's been pretty bad in his last 4. Before that was fine. Does he have history here? The answer is yes. T10, complete game. That's pretty good. John Pock popped somewhere recently, but it might have just been 1 round. No, it's been a little bit better than that. Charles Schwab, T28, Canadian Open, T27, 10 strokes gained on approach in those 2. Probably going to go John Pock. Another guy who can't play on the weekends. But I think I'm still going to roll with Pock. Snack top 10. Reese's peanut butter cups are undisputably goated. Mine are probably going to be a lot of chocolates. Okay, how about this? Junior mints. Refreshing, chocolatey. You can pop a couple at a time or pop a lot at a time. Those are very good. And I do like sour stuff as well. You know what I just had recently for the first time in like 15 years was a Warhead. You had one of those recently? Ooh, will make you pucker up real good. I think I'm going to go Reese's. I think I also have to throw in maybe Twix. Twix is pretty good too. Anyway. Are you playing any WSO? Oh, hold on. Sorry, stand by. Thoughts on Taylor Moore? I'm in. I just think the game's trending a little bit. I think the game's trending a little bit, and he's got 3 straight top 10s here, and I just love the way he can draw it. I love the way I just maybe I'm taking a little bit of a risk, but I like it. 3 out of 360 and 1 and done. Griffin, Decky, Hall, Siwoo, Griffin. Yeah, play Griffin. Any love for Chris Kirk? And are you playing any WSOP events? You know, I'm not, or at least I haven't even looked. This is the first time. I'm ashamed. Chris Kirk's been playing better. Actually, he's been playing a lot better. He's got 5 made cuts here. Okay, stand by. Hold on a second. That's a very strong record here. Has really been pretty good. The putter still stinks. Has he putted well here? Definitely has, right? Well, we might have just found something here, John. How much is he? 7,500. This is a pretty good. I don't really have anything negative to say about this. He's a cheap tee to green maven who's picked up strokes on approach in 8 of 9 pretty significantly. The putter stinks, but he has had success here, and he's also at times putted well here. Quite honestly, even if you gave me his worst putting performance that he's ever had at Detroit Golf Club, it would be better than a lot of his recent results. So, okay, John, good on you. I haven't even looked at this is the first year in a while I've not even looked at the WSOP schedule before the series started, because quite honestly, I just haven't been able to find anything that gets me, you know, like do I want to play like an $800 event that is going to take like 4 days? I don't know. Not really. I want to play, but like, do I want to play a turbo and just like punt $1,000 for in 2 hours? Like, not really either. So what I think I'm going to do is there's a lot of really good stuff on WSOP.com this time of year. So I'm going to probably sit down with the iPad at some point and get into maybe like an online event. But it's too many people. Shrink the game. No, I'm just kidding. So I have a lot of exposure. So Ronan says, like, what are your normal plays? So I have a lot of season-long exposure. So that is season-long fantasy leagues, one and dones, a variety of just like different types of contests or like Calcuttas or something like that. So I have a pretty extensive season-long portfolio. So then the DFS stuff has definitely waned over the years, but it's mostly just like single entry stuff, a lot more wagering, especially in terms of matchups. But yeah, I have a lot of season long exposure, which I think I like that more. It just makes it better. Out on Minwoo, in on Chris Kirk, out on Valimaki. Rasmus over Nikolai. I would go Hall over Rasmus. You are Justin Timberlake doppelganger? Why, thank you. I will take that every day of the week. You're my new best friend, Free Pac-Man. If you need to make up $3 million, you should not play Ben Griffin, unfortunately. Good fit for Kurt Kitayama. Kurt Kitayama. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised. Not as much as I was when I saw Chris Kirk's profile, but I'm pleasantly surprised with the tee to green gains and some of the putting gains. His 2 missed cuts are the PGA Championship, where he played very well, and the Canadian Open, where he didn't play all that bad at all. Okay. Not as excited like I was about Chris Kirk, but not bad. I got to find out who this CoffeeZilla guy is. Ben Griffin is usable everywhere. Cam Young, God, where are they playing the BMW? Maryland? Let me think what else. Is Cam Young going to play one of the John Deere or the 3M? If I knew the answer to that, I would play him there. But I don't know. Is there any info or research that looks at fantasy price or fantasy points produced? Yeah. I don't know if I still have it. I used to have it all over the website, right? So here's fantasy points gained, ownership, salary, what percentile you finish in terms of fantasy points. You can go to the custom model. You can use fantasy points or fantasy points gained. Yes, it's a good metric. Yes, you can use it. Thank you, Boyd Badaz. Thank you. Agree with this. So I have to blame Mina on this. Mina's the GOAT. She set this thing up. I think we were a little, so we put the Cutman up in like 3 minutes the other day. And I think we could have moved it over a little bit, because I also think my head's blocking it and all this stuff. Maybe we will. I think we were a little rash on putting it up, but I like it. It's also like, if you know, and it's kind of hidden a little bit, but I agree with you. There's a background change coming at some point. Top country for this week. Oh, is this in terms of golfers or just like for me? Is this for golfers? Okay, let's go. Sweden, France, Finland. Ooh, thank you, Mina. I'm not feeling Ricky this week. No, the game is just not sharp enough. Okay, I'm at the end of the questions, and I have to go. Mina, who's your pick to win? Quickly. Jeremy wants to know. The people want to know. I have to go do another show. But we got to the end of the questions, which is pretty good. She said, give me Cam. She always does this. She picks somebody that she can now she can take credit for Davis, Champ, or anybody else. And she said the good one. Young. She always does this. So one of the Cams she's taking. Young. She's taking Young, allegedly. But she'll claim any one of those other ones. Okay. It's been an absolute pleasure. I got work to do. I appreciate you guys logging on. I'll see you next time.